my screen?
Yes, you can do.
Okay, great. And the 20 minutes, it includes questions or not?
No, it doesn't include questions.
Okay, great. So I'll keep an eye on time. So let's go over here, share, and I'll trust everyone since I'm in present mode. I guess if somebody has questions, hopefully I'll be able to stop along the way, but we'll do questions at the end, really. Okay, so I'm Elisheva Hudson. I run Hudson Films. So today I want to talk to you guys about how to create video for your business, right? We have some marketing people here. We probably have some people that are really well versed in video, and then we have other people that are less well versed in video. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different topics, but one of the most important things being how do we know what to create video about and how to get started with that video. Okay, so a bit about me. I actually went to college. I studied film, which is not so normal for people in my field. I really...
Oh, sorry, I was doing breakout rooms. Can everybody see Elisheva's screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can also see it.
I see it, but I see her.
Yeah,
like,
you have to press
present.
present,
It's your
Elisheva.
Canva page, and I
It doesn't say present?
No, if you press present, your cursor's
Might
on it.
have
I just
opened a
don't
new
think you
screen.
clicked it.
It says I'm screen sharing, and
If
I
you
did
press
present.
in the top right corner, there's a button that says present. Maybe click on that.
I did already.
I think she did, and it opened in a new screen. Is that possible?
Oh,
like it didn't do that.
yes, maybe
screen?
stop sharing and then restart sharing again. Thank you, Hillel.
Looks like...
It should work if you stop sharing and then reshare.
Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties, everyone.
No problem.
Okay, let's see. Now let's go over to here. How's this? Same thing?
Can't see anything yet. Hold on, it's not loaded. Now I can't see. Can anyone? I can't see anything. Can anyone?
Yeah, no, we're not seeing anything.
Yeah, it's just
so weird.
Okay, so just go back to the camera. We'll just watch it on camera. It's not the end of the world.
Okay. So now I'll do share one more time. Can you see this?
No, it's still black.
Do you do the full screen or are you doing on a window?
Now I'm doing on a window before I hit present, and it has a green thing around it. And now I'll hit present again, see if that helps. Nobody sees anything. That is so interesting.
Yeah, maybe close that screen entirely and then just go to the camera one.
Yeah.
Where is the IT guy when we need him? We need a Zoom. We need a Zoom specialist.
Yeah, no kidding. Pause share, resume share. New share.
No, I'm sorry. It's going back.
No problem.
Okay, go. Yeah.
Okay, so the next one are how-to videos. So again, this is this shows your sort of breadth of knowledge. So this is where you're going to be thinking, obviously, we're going to get into this in a little bit, but obviously how-to videos that apply mostly to your audience. But you want to have things that are like 3 ways to do this, 5 ways to do this, right? And this is a really quick and easy way for your audience to start to begin to trust you a bit, because they understand how much you know about the things that apply to them, right? And it's really simple, you know. This is, I would say, thought leadership and how-to videos really a lot of times go hand in hand together. So those are that's the second type I would suggest to you guys. And then the third type are process or BTS, which is behind the scenes, right? So this type of video is great for everyone. This I would even compare, maybe if you guys are on Instagram, a lot of people do this in Instagram stories. They just kind of show a little bit about their day, what they do, kind of giving you a behind the scenes look. It really helps people to get to know you a little bit better. It makes you seem less just like this corporate business person that's like way over there, and you're just like a real person. This is how I put things together. This is how I meet with clients. This is actually really great as well for anyone that has a visual work. So architecture, right? So that would be a great one. You want to show how something comes together. Maybe you want to show a before and an after picture, like anything that gives us an inside look, especially for visual people. Like you have it super easy. For other people that just feel like they're in front of a computer all day, so it gets to be like a little bit harder, but there's always a way to show your process. So if you have no idea how to start doing videos, definitely here are 3 types of videos that are very manageable and very easy to sort of get started. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, creating a video strategy. So I put up this picture of this girl because I feel like when people think about a video strategy, this is sometimes how they feel. Oh, that's interesting. Drum coming up. Do you guys see that drum? I'm not sure
We
what
can
that is.
see.
Okay. Not sure what that is. So creating a video strategy. So really this is gonna, for anyone in the marketing field, this is gonna sound super similar to you. But it's really about understanding your target audience. You wanna understand who you're speaking to. Some of you have multiple target audiences, but whoever it is, you should obviously know who that is by now. And you really wanna think of what they want to hear, right? I'm sure you guys have all been through this process before, but it's about addressing the customer problem. It's about showing your face, and it's about being consistent, right? So when you've identified your target audience and you understand the problems that they go through, and then you understand what the solution is to that problem, right? This is like the foundational work that you do when it comes to marketing. So it's the same thing with your video strategy. You want to think about those problems. What are your solutions? And you want to use that to simply understand the types of topics for video that your audience wants to hear about. If you're a person who's super organized and creating social media content already on a monthly basis, so what I would suggest then is just leaving a space every week, every 2 weeks, whatever it is, to have one of those things be a video. One of, I think, the most underrated parts of creating a video strategy is the importance of being consistent, right? So you need to think about what is realistic for you. For some people, they have the ability to create a short video every week. You know, they're technologically savvy, it doesn't bother them, they can just sort of hop on and do it. And so if that's possible for you, so then make a plan to do a video every week. For many of us, when we first start creating video, doing a video every week is not really gonna be realistic for us. So you need to look at your schedule, you need to understand what's possible for you, and whatever consistency means for you, that's what you need to do. As crazy as it sounds, it's actually worse to make 3 videos 1 week and then don't make a video for 3 weeks, because people get they start to see that you're building something, that you're growing, and then you just sort of disappear, and then they kind of forget about you. Now that doesn't mean you should just give up if you had a rough couple of weeks and you weren't able to put out a video, but you should just, when you're deciding how you're going to go about creating video, one of the best earliest decisions you can make is really looking at your schedule and saying, how can I be consistent with this in my own personal schedule? Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, so getting started. So this is like the technical part of actually creating the videos, right? So the first thing is the video. So I always say that you should start with what you have. I can't tell you how many people have made excuses for not getting started because they're like, oh, I just ordered this thing, or oh, I want to wait for this camera to come in, or oh, I haven't decided this thing or that thing. I'm going to assume that everyone here has some sort of smartphone with some sort of camera. And if that is the case, then you already have everything that you need to get started. A lot of times we think that we have to spend all this money, but because it has to look great and it has to look amazing or whatever. But a lot of times people come to me asking me for advice on what equipment that they should get, right? And I actually advise them against buying a camera, especially when it comes to social media video content. Because first of all, you're going to spend a ton of money, and then you're going to have to figure out how to use this thing. And then once you start making videos, you might find that you actually make this type of video instead of that type of video. And so you ended up wasting all this time and this money, and it's not even what you really want to be doing. So what I always suggest is that people should use what they have. They should get started with whatever camera they have on their smartphone. And after they've started creating video content, they're going to start to see, oh, I actually really like making how-to videos, and this is what I need for those videos. And then you can sort of reward yourself by buying something that you need specific for your type of video. So for audio, I'm gonna contradict myself just a little bit here. I'm gonna say that a microphone is really ideal. It really, really does help, especially because I don't, different smartphones, depending on how old or how new they are, some of them have better microphones, some of them have less good microphones. So I would say that the ideal kind of basic setup for you is to have some sort of plug-in lav mic, or what people might call like clip-on mics, a mic you can clip right here, and you can actually buy specific ones that plug into your smartphone, right? It really helps a lot. Obviously, if you're already in a quiet place, if you're sitting in your office, it's not such a big deal, but it really is, it really does help to be able to get a microphone. So what I would suggest is for you to start working with your smartphone, but look into or order online buying a basic microphone that you can just, plug into your phone, plug into your camera, whatever it is that you have. But don't let that stop you from actually getting started. Okay. So another thing that I want to talk about is lighting. This is something that can get very complicated. It mystifies a lot of people. But really what you want to be doing is you just want to notice what is going on in your space and what lights you have access to, right? Maybe in your office you have a lamp set up. Maybe you notice that you guys can't see my background. I have a visual background on right now because of the space that I'm in. But let's just say in this picture that you guys see, right? So there's a window back there. So let's say that was real. So it's sun's coming in that way. So you want to notice where the sun is coming in, what time of day that maybe usually film these videos, and just notice the lights around you. So some tips, you guys have probably noticed this when you've done Zoom before. So I actually have a window in reality right here. And before I open my Zoom, I actually close the window, and I'll tell you why. Because the sun comes in right here. And the way that my computer Zoom camera works is it's just going to take the space, and it's going to be the same thing with your smartphones, by the way. It's going to take the space and it's going to automatically equalize the exposure. So what does that mean? It's going to say, oh, there's this really bright light that's coming back here, and I don't want that to be overexposed or too bright. So it's actually going to make my face quite dark, and then it's going to expose for this super bright light back here, right? So it's actually better to, when it comes to things like Zoom and your smartphone and whatever, to make sure that you never have a bright light that's right behind you, because it's going to make your face dark. What I've actually done for my setup is I have my computer here, and then behind my computer, I just have this small light that kind of like helps pop and give me a little bit more light on my face. But one thing you might notice right now is, depending on how I sit, I actually have a glare in my glasses, right? So if I was filming an actual video, I would say that's not good. So how do you get rid of a glare like that? Really, if you can, I would just say take off glasses. I deal with this a lot with people, and if I can film people without their glasses, it makes my life so much easier. But honestly, it's really just about the angle. So if you notice, if I sit this way, it looks a little bit different than if I sit this way. If you have the ability to sort of raise whatever light you're dealing with, some people have ring lights, which are very helpful for filming social media videos. So that's one of the things you can invest in as time goes on. But it's really just about the angle that the light is hitting you. And that's what's going to help most. Okay, and then editing. Obviously, editing is a whole thing in of itself. And I'm not really going to get into it today, but you guys need to obviously be able to edit your videos. So my suggestions for editing is, if you're doing things on your phone, which if you're filming on your smartphone, I highly recommend just keeping everything on the phone. It makes it so much easier. You don't have to transfer from phone to computer and then back again to phone in order to post the video. So if you can do everything from your phone, I recommend using InShot. And if you're doing things from your computer, I recommend checking out Capwing. And obviously there are higher level programs. Those were both free. I'm trying to save you guys as much money as possible if you didn't catch that yet. But there are programs that are sort of mid-level that you pay some sort of subscription or initial fee for. And then there's the higher level professional program. So if you want a program that does more, you can really just be in touch with me, and I'm happy to advise based on what you're looking to do with your videos. Okay, so we can move forward. Elena, can we
Oh,
move
sorry, I
forward?
totally forgot. Oh God, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Got that
I'm
out
also
of my
clicking
screen.
mine. I'm also like clicking mine at first, and then like, oh, it's not my computer.
So,
Okay.
carry on.
No problem at all. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about framing. So you might go into your space and think, okay, how do I even deal with this? So first of all, it's not just about framing, but you also want to be thinking about the background. So in general, when it comes to backgrounds, it's good to have something that's relevant to what you do, right? If you're a lawyer, so why not have a bookshelf with some books that make you look really smart right behind you? You know, if you have a desk that has different colors that really speak to you and your brand and whatever it is, so just set yourself up in front of your desk. So think about a background that's not too distracting, but has something that gives some sort of relevance to what you do, who you are, the work that you're doing. In general, I don't recommend being directly in front of a wall because it really flattens you out. So if you have the ability and you have the space, just make sure you have a little separation between you and the actual wall behind you. Okay, so when it comes to framing, we have a few different options. I gave like a few different options over here. If you're not sure what to do and you feel like you don't really have a good eye for composition, you don't know what looks good and bad and whatever, so I would say you should just center yourself up. That is the safest thing to do. Not only that, but it gives you more options when it comes to different platforms that have different sizing on the videos, and I'll get into that at the end. When it comes to social media videos, your audience wants to feel like you are talking to them. So it's best to really look straight into the lens, right? To center yourself up, look into the lens, whatever. That is not as typical for the bottom picture as you see below. That's more like an interview style video. So that would be something where I'm looking a little bit off to the side. I'm speaking to an interviewer, but that's not really the type of videos that you guys are working on. You're doing more social media videos. So you want to make the audience feel like I'm just talking to you. We're having a conversation, and it's really important to look into the lens when you do that. Because of this, I recommend when you're filming on smartphones to make sure that you're looking directly into the lens and you don't have the phone set up in a way where you're looking at your own face. You know how you can have the phone either way, you can look at your face and you can see sort of the preview. It's beneficial to look at the preview just to check your picture. But when you are actually during filming, watching your own face, it's going to feel like you're just looking in a little bit off. You're not looking like directly at the lens. It's going to kind of look like I'm looking like this, right? So you want to make sure you're looking at the lens. So I highly recommend that you actually turn the phone around, and then you can actually see where the lens is, focus on that part and not get distracted by your face. The other thing you can try and do is, if center doesn't seem like that fun for you, it just feels like very typical, very average, whatever. The other thing you can do is you can try the rule of thirds, which basically means, as opposed to right now in this camera, if you guys can see my face, I'm kind of like exactly in the middle, right? But if I were to scooch over just a little bit, there's something called the rule of thirds, which means we divide the screen into 3 ways. Oh, sorry, it's not mirrored. 3 ways this way. And then across, we also do 3 ways this way. And that means across one of the quadrants is where my eye sits. Basically, it means as opposed to being center, I'm a little bit off center. And so sometimes this can work better with your background. And this can also be a little bit more of an appealing way in general, just when it comes to like composition theory, for you to frame your face within a frame. But really, like, either one is fine. If you want to try to mix it up just to give a different look to some of your videos, so try some this way and then try some this way. and really see how it goes. Okay, we can move forward.
So just to say, Elisheva, you've got about 4 or 5 more minutes.
Okay, great. Great, no problem. So editing tips when it comes to editing. Again, I'm not going to teach you guys technically how to edit on here, but I do want to give you some tips when you're putting the video together. In general, I would say that people are forgiving when it comes to the video, when it comes to video on social media. So if you mess up in a word really quick and you keep going, you know, you don't need to worry about sounding exactly perfect on your video. But if you really like totally messed up and started over, so obviously you're going to want to edit those parts out, right? First of all, I do want to say, if you've never edited before, you want to give yourself more time than normal. It always takes longer than you think it's going to take. So don't be too hard on yourself the first time. Yeah, Lisa's like totally shaking her head. Don't be too hard on yourself. It just takes more time. And the first couple times it'll take you a very long time, and then you will start to get used to it and move faster. And that's totally, totally normal. So there are some things to be able to keep people's attention, especially when we're dealing with the scroll, right? We really want people to stop on the scroll on social media. So there is an idea that you want to insert something new every 5 to 8 seconds. What could that be? That could be a picture. That could be a piece of text, really like big and large. That could be cutting away to a piece of video, like whatever it is. If you have that ability and you have that patience to really edit something together,
Sorry.
go back. No problem. Then every 5 to 8 seconds, like that will really keep people engaged. You should always put on subtitles no matter what, even if you didn't edit a video like at all. Let's say you took out one part, you just took out the beginning. Really, really, you should put subtitles on. You can do subtitles manually in the programs like InShot and Capwing that I told you about. I believe that Capwing also has a auto subtitle creator that you probably have to edit because it's not perfect. It's like done by a computer. And then there is a website called rev.com, rev.com, where you can pay $1.25 per minute of video to be able to put on subtitles. I do that with every single one of my videos. Like, it's a waste. It takes so long sometimes to create subtitles, and it's totally worth it. $1.25. If you only have like a 2-minute video, like, so worth it for your time not to have to deal with that. And the other thing is stay up to date with the platform. You know, platforms are always changing. You really want to notice what's going on. You know, on LinkedIn, a lot of time they have these bars on the top and bottom with the title up here and the subtitles on here. Just notice what's going on. Notice the length of videos that you typically see on Facebook versus Instagram versus LinkedIn, you know, and really just try and stay on top with it, because these things will change. But if you can change with them, that's the best way to stay up to date. Okay, we'll go to the next one.
So, do you want to look to wrap up? Sorry.
Yeah, this is basically the last one. So platform tips. So I just wanted to say that each platform sizes differently. If you have questions about how to size for the different ones, generally Facebook and LinkedIn are going to be less fussy, and Instagram is the most fussy. We have Instagram stories, which is really like vertical. Then we have Instagram. If it's under a minute, it can be like a post sizing. And if it's over a minute, it goes over to IGTV, which is like longer videos. And then that's sized even differently. So I recommend just using InShot. They have lots of different sizing. They do it for you for the different platforms. And that's an easy way to sort of make it work. Okay, so just to like sum up, I'm not going to get to the last slide because we're out of time, but basically analytics, you want to check, but you don't want to obsess. At the end of the day, you want to think is, what is the reason that I'm creating this video? I don't want you to obsess over likes, over comments, over whatever it is, because at the end of the day, you're doing this to build a brand. You're doing this to make more sales. It's easy to become obsessed with how many likes and who's commenting and what's seeing it. But really, if you're growing your business, that is going to be the most important thing. So if you just scroll over, Helena, like 2 slides, we can skip the next one and go over to the end. If you guys have any questions, if you feel like it's a challenge to come up with ideas for your business, you should feel free to be in touch, WhatsApp, email, whatever it is. And I'm happy to give you what I think about how you can sort of create videos in a way that works for your audience.
Thank you so much, Elisheva. That was brilliant. A huge round of applause. Thank you. That was really chock full of content and so helpful. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions for Elisheva? Larry, take it away.
Yeah, so I don't have that much experience actually with videoing myself, But the few experiences I have had were really terrible. Like, as in,
Right.
I feel incredibly awkward, very self-conscious about it. I look at the video afterwards, my voice sounds terrible, which I think is a common thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
totally.
I just like, I find it hard to get over that. So, are there any tips for how to feel normal
Deal
on
with that.
video, or convince
Yeah.
yourself that you look normal, feel normal, or sound normal? Because it seems it's so odd, and I just don't
It's
trust.
very hard. Yeah, totally. Okay, so first of all, I want to say it's a very normal thing. There's been studies on this. It's called like camera fright. And it's weird because, you know, it's one thing to speak to a group of audiences. I can look at you guys and you guys are shaking your head, being like, yeah, totally, I understand. But when nobody's there, you're like, is this the stupidest thing I've ever said? Like, nobody's acknowledging me. Nobody, like, what is going on? So for some people, it helps to have someone on the other side of the camera just so you can feel like someone's receiving the words that you're saying. But for some people, that makes them more nervous because they're like, I don't want this person to hear, you know, like how silly it is, whatever it is I'm saying. So there's that. There's also, I want to say, like, for you with photography, it's obviously like a very visual thing. So if you feel nervous speaking on camera, like you don't feel like you want to tomorrow sit down and do a how-to video on how you set up X, Y, and Z, or, you know, whatever it is. So I would recommend just start doing some behind the scenes stuff, like a few clips here, a few clips there. You don't really have to be talking on camera. And then you can post the video, like you can even clip together if you feel like it, a few pieces, or you don't really have to. Time lapses are really great. If you're setting up like your next portrait shoot, put your smartphone somewhere like on a little tripod, hit the time lapse, and then post that. It'll end up being 15 seconds. And you're like, here's a, you know, behind the scenes as to like setting up our thing. That I think sometimes is easier because we're not talking on camera. Our face isn't there. We don't have to write a script for it. And it gets you used to just posting video and being on videos. And it could be that after that, you start to feel a little bit more comfortable being on camera. The other thing I suggest, which I don't even know if you're actually on Instagram, but I always suggest for people to start with Instagram stories too, if they're very nervous being on camera, because they go away in 24 hours. So if you feel like it's really dumb, it's going to go away soon. So don't worry. And it's very casual. Like it doesn't have to be polished. You're just kind of being like, hey, I'm excited. I'm shooting 3 different people today for portraits. They're coming one after the other. It's going to be a busy day, but I'm really psyched. I'll let you guys know how it goes. And that's like, should be more relaxed. So how do you use time lapse on a smartphone? Do you have an iPhone?
No, Android.
Android. Okay, so I'd have to look up how you do it. I know on an iPhone, it's just one of the options if you're scrolling. If you don't have it, then you could just set up the video, and then when you go in to edit it later, you could just speed it up. So I believe you should be able to do that in any program, where if it's like if you filmed for 10 minutes, then you speed it up super to like 10 seconds long, and it just looks like you're running around fast like a crazy person.
And you can
So
change
I can look into it on
frames,
Android how you do that.
change it to 3 frames if you're
Yeah, I don't know what options, like how many of those options you actually have on your phone. Yeah, for professional, that's what you would normally do, but just for social media, it doesn't look, it's not such a big deal if it's not like perfect, you know. But that's what I would suggest.
I see Moshe has a question, so we'll do Moshe, and then I probably will end the questions there. But I know Elisheva, you'll be around on email for any more questions.
Yeah, you can message me. You could email me if anyone has like follow-up questions. Happy to answer.
Okay, great. So Moshe, and then we'll probably end it there.
First of all, great presentation. Thank you. A question on timing, on time. Like I do for Nefesh B'Nefesh and other organizations, I've done like long, you know, they have a lot of information. So it's like a very intense thing, and it's a webinar, a lot of people, and they're coming to learn this. So they can literally be for 45 minutes, an hour.
Right.
I want to start doing short stuff. Is there like a 1 minute, 10 minute? I've heard different things in terms of attention spans, et cetera.
Right. So definitely on social media, the shorter the better. I would say for something like that, what I would recommend, first of all, if you've done a lot of these 45-minute, hour-long webinars, it's like you have so much content already at your disposal. It's like you never have to film anything ever again. What I would recommend is taking those longer pieces and finding a minute chunk here, a 30-second chunk here, like some sort of like bite-size sound bite that you can like take down, and you could like post one on LinkedIn every single day, and it could probably be interesting to people. I don't know how long-winded you are in general. Some people are more long-winded and some people speak in shorter sentences. So it might be at first a little bit time consuming for you to find the right pieces. But I think that it's really great to have that stuff. I don't know if you have recordings of it, or you can ask them for it, or maybe it's just on Facebook or something like that. But I would find shorter pieces. And for something like that, I would definitely go for 2 minutes or less. And you have to understand that a lot of times people are not going to watch the whole thing, but that's okay. I definitely wouldn't go for over 2 minutes, that's for sure, if you can. And just keep in mind that people may only stay for the first 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. So you want to try and get the most valuable piece at the beginning. And even better, if you can start off with some sort of thing that's going to make them want to finish at the end. We didn't talk about this as much, but like starting off with a hook where either you're asking your audience a question, you're saying like, that's a really great question. People always ask me, how do I start the process of X, Y, and Z, right? And then if you can hopefully answer that question right away, that's going to be something that leads them to the end. There's no one set time. I would say the shorter the better, but somewhere from 30 seconds to up to 2 minutes, I would say is a good idea to start with. And then you'll start to notice videos that do worse, videos that do better, videos that people respond to more, and whether or not those were the shorter ones or the longer ones.
You're saying ask question and answer it right away, just to make sure I understood that?
That is one way to hook people in, especially like if you could find from the webinars, let's say, a part where you're either repeating the person who asked you the question. I don't know what these webinars are like, but I'm just like guessing. Let's say somebody's asking you a question and you said something like, that's a really great question. People ask me all the time, how do I even start the process of getting together a mortgage? And then if you either want to cut out and skip to the part where you directly answer that question, or you just, maybe you answered it right away in the video, I'm not really sure. But that is one way to hook people in, because they know exactly from the beginning what I'm going to get with this video, and that I need to finish the video if I'm going to get that answer, right?
Awesome. I'm so sorry. I'm going to end it there. Elisheva, that's fantastic. And you just gave over so much knowledge. And I do encourage you all to reach out to Elisheva. She is really, really great. I had a fantastic video experience with her. I told her exactly what I didn't want to look like also, and she was really sympathetic to that. And I really, really appreciate it. I couldn't rave about her more. I'm now going to stop recording.